Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I wanted to remind you that on link to my sponsor today, they're putting more Cerberus private equity. If you remember, Cerberus they're the people that make the huge, I think the largest AI chips in existence, Cerberus, and they're also, I think, don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure that they announced they were going to go public this year. But anyway, on my sponsor's website, go check it out, linqto.com. Cerberus. Gold is back above 2350, over 2360 now. That's no coincidence. Now, before I get going, I wanted to tell you a story. This is funny. In my last video, I was joking around about, this was that video clip of the under the Federal Reserve basement where that guy was talking, and I was joking around about Pee-wee's Big Adventures, about the there's no basement in the Alamo scene. Well, one of the most classic scenes out of that movie, out of Pee-wee's Big Adventures, was the Large Marge scene. Quick funny story. My oldest son is my serious, he's the one, we call him Mr. Serious. He's really serious, not the guy that's going to be joking around a lot. But anyway, when he was in elementary school, I was dropping him off. And I was dropping him off, and we were late to school one morning. So he was all freaked out because he was going to be late to class. Well, his teacher she was about my age. His teacher went to high school where I went to high school. So I was about to drop him off. He was freaking out about how he was going to be late. And it was a random thought in my mind. And it was funny because he's so serious, and especially when he was at that age, that when I said to say this, he took me serious and went in there and actually did it. When he was getting out of the car, and I said, "Oh, don't worry about it." I said, "Tell him Large Marge sent you." And I knew that the teacher had gone to high school with me, and she was of that generation. He goes into school, he walks in the class. You can imagine this teacher, everybody's in their seats, and my son's late. He walks into class and says, "Large Marge sent me." And the teacher he said that she just started dying laughing. I think that got him out of any kind of trouble for being late. Sometimes you just got to be funny. All right. Those of you that are not of that generation, you don't think that's funny at all, and that's fine. I encourage you to go watch Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and you will get it. Bitcoins break below 60,000 may see spot ETFs exit the market, according to this whoever. I really do think that the whole market is going to surge into the end of this year, but we shall see. Here's no, this is a warning. There's adults speaking in this video. It's only 37 seconds. But any children, any of you down with the banks that think that Bitcoin is going to take over the world and we won't have banks anymore and all the adults are just going to pick up their ball and go home, the central bankers are just going to go home and say, okay, well, you won Bitcoin. All of the children that believe that, you need to go walk out of the room now. Don't listen to this part because this is adult talk and it will probably offend you.
Right, and that's Ripple. And the reason for that is, as has been said by, I think it was David Schwartz, you can't have the new currency run on a system and not have anyone to call. In other words, it can't run on Bitcoin because if you have a problem, who do you call, right? Nobody. There's no one to call. There's no one to help you. So you have to have some group behind you that is known, transparent, audited, accountable, responsible. That's who Ripple is. In effect, I think Ripple is like the new Federal Reserve, right?
There are only two companies in crypto that I can tell you 100% are transparent, and that is Ripple and Circle. maybe Stellar. I haven't been following Stellar as much lately, but maybe Stellar is transparent like that. Maybe. This game does not end with you not with a financial system where nobody knows what's under the hood. That's not how this goes. This is a great clip that Ray Fuentes. It's an older clip of Chris Larsen, but these clips every once in a while are important to show. There's new people coming in every day. This is from Ray Fuentes. Go give Ray a follow. He's at Ray_Fuentes and then 4 1s. Ray's nice guy, smart guy.
I'm Chris Larsen. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Ripple Labs. Ripple Labs is a software company based here in San Francisco. Ripple Labs is the company that first built the Ripple protocol.
Ripple Labs is the company that first built the Ripple protocol.
Ripple protocol is an open source distributed ledger inspired by the technology behind Bitcoin, but sort of repurposed to be sort of a currency agnostic, kind of a faster settlement system. So the way we see this technology being used is less for building a new currency for the world. We don't think the world actually needs new currencies necessarily, but it does need a faster way of moving existing currencies because there's no global switch in the world for moving value. So that's why it takes 2+ days to move value between countries with a lot of cost and not much competition on sort of foreign exchange. So we're trying to approach distributed ledgers by focusing on building an alternative to correspondent banking as sort of step number one. But you could probably see these sort of faster payment technologies moving into security settlement, maybe even supply chain. So.
Alrighty then. Now, this is one amidst the environment we're in right now. You gotta hear. I had seen somebody retweet. This is a video, they had retweeted this. This is a video I had put out a while back, and you gotta see it. Watch.
But here's what China actually is doing.
That's Jim Rickards.
China wants to have their
3-letter Jim Rickards.
They can eat it. They want to be a kind of a reserve currency without opening the capital account and building the infrastructure I just described. The way to do that is to say, well, the world reserve currency, the coming reserve currency, the thing that's going to replace the dollar, is the IMF special drawing right. So China is trying to be a reserve currency through the back door by being included in the basket that makes up the SDR. The SDR is the special drawing right. Now, if you look at that basket today, and all this information is available on the IMF website, it's what's in it. Well, it's the dollar, it's the euro, it's the yen, Swiss francs, sterling.
And where the digital assets fit in, like things like XRP and Bitcoin and Ethereum, they're kind of in that mid-range. They become, I think, like the Singapore dollar or the Swiss franc, and they become useful in, kind of lubricating the world to make it easier for those big four to get in the hands of people all around the world. There might be a couple other currencies in there, but the point is they're all those sort of traditional hard currencies. The Chinese yuan is not included. But what people don't understand is that the IMF executive board has the ability to change the composition of the basket. They could vote to include the Chinese yuan. And that, by the way, those discussions are taking place as we speak.
IMF. Do you see IMF holding crypto assets in the future? I did not put that up there.
Remember, I'm from the legal department. I'm supposed to be very conservative about these things. I don't want to go into great details about
Maybe I should take what the IMF is going to do. I think we stunned Ross into silence with that one.
For that to happen, okay, under the current legal framework, some country would have to use a crypto asset as its currency.
Right now, the IMF annual meeting is taking place in Washington, and behind closed doors, the Chinese are discussing the mechanism and the timing of including the Chinese yuan in the SDR basket. So that's China's way of being, in effect, a global reserve currency, because once you make the SDR a reserve currency and the Chinese yuan is included, it's de facto part of the global reserve without opening up the Chinese capital account to the kind of direct capital inflows in Chinese yuan-denominated bond market that I described.
And this is when Jim Rickards actually commented on XRP. People are saying it is not my idea of reliable source. That said, even the IMF devs, and I'm sure Ripple has some good ones, that doesn't mean XRP will be a reserve asset. More likely it's an ESDR. And then Fox News is bringing Anthony Pompliano again. They've got to, trying their best to get this Bitcoin pumping again.
In the cryptocurrency movement.
I think that retail investors and institutions have both realized that Bitcoin is a resilient asset that's going to be worth a lot more 5 or 10 years from now than it is today. And therefore, when there are these dips, they look at them as buying opportunities. And if you think of great investors, they understand what they own. And when those assets go down in price, they buy more. And so it's the people who actually question, if the price moves against me and should I buy more? They just may not understand what they actually own. And so what's interesting is if we go back over the last couple of bull and bear market cycles in Bitcoin, we used to see a lot of 30% drawdowns. In 2017, there was 5 or 6 different 30% drawdowns. In the last cycle, we saw a couple of 25% drawdowns. Now what we're starting to see is only about 15% drawdowns. And so the volatility is actually being dampened, and there's this persistent kind of inflow coming from these ETFs, which historically was not there. And so I think that really serves as this great tailwind for Bitcoin going through the end of the year.
You just said that some investors buy things they don't understand. I think a lot of people who are in Bitcoin might not understand it.
Probably true. All right, in DAIXRP.com, here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about something that everybody's forgotten, and I'm going to remind you. And I'm also going to show you a must-see video. So I think that what's happening in the United States of America, I think that there are so many people on both sides of the aisle that are longing for the way it used to be, the way that the optimism, the portrayal of American strength. And that doesn't mean attacking other countries. That just means everybody knowing that we don't take a bunch of BS, but at the same time, we don't attack other countries and all that business, all this Ukraine type crap. We all know what that is. But anyway, we're gonna talk. I'm gonna show you a clip that'll make you. That's what's been missing for the last 3.5 years, is the pride. I mean, that's one of the many things that's been missing, but the pride. When's the last time we heard Joe Biden stand up and start talking about the greatness of this country? When's the last time you saw the military proud of who their commander-in-chief is? Because you hadn't seen it in the last 3.5 years. I think they turned their back on the guy during the inauguration, if I recall. Anyway, you'll see. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family. Let's go talk about something a lot of people have forgotten about. I'm going to remind you. Here we go.